suspects, no motive, and the FBI is now stepping in after a series of intentional targeted attacks on electric substations in North Carolina. Now, tens of thousands of people have no power and might not get it back until Thursday. Schools are closed, shelters are open as crews race to get the lights and heat back on ahead of yet another cold night. Here's what we do know. The two substations were damaged by multiple rounds of gunfire on Saturday. Officials estimate the damage is probably in the millions. CNN's Whitney Wild leads us off. Whitney, what do you know about this investigation?
Well, at this point, police are saying very little. They are only saying, as you pointed out, that these two substations sustained gunfire. At one of the substations, a gate was taken off of its hinges. And Anna, what they're saying, notably, is that they believe this was intentional and that this was a deliberate criminal act. And what's notable, Anna, is when you look at the two substations, they're 13 miles apart. So it took effort to go from one to the other. That's about a 20-minute drive at a minimum. So certainly that will be a significant reason that law enforcement is describing this as a deliberate criminal act. Right now, there is a little bit of good news because here in Moore County, Duke Energy tells me that around 7,000 people have been able to get back online since last night. The number of people out of power here is hovering around 33,000. They are working around the clock. You can see these folks behind me working very, very hard to get this equipment back up and running. But it's tough, Anna, because this was so significant. The damage was just so significant that this isn't like a snowstorm where you can just pop things back up online in 12 hours, 24 hours. I mean, as you mentioned, millions and millions of dollars of very significant damage here. So it's going to take some time. Duke Energy saying that they're not going to be able to bring customers back online until about Thursday. Meanwhile, back to the investigation. The FBI, the State Bureau of Investigation, all trying to figure out who's behind this. Law enforcement-wise, Anna, this is an all-hands-on-deck situation. Back to you.
Explain that, though. What is the FBI's role in this? Why get them involved?
Well, quite often what the FBI will do is they will send many resources here to process evidence, to offer any expertise as far as, again, processing that evidence and drawing up a potential profile of someone who might have committed this type of act. But further, when you look at how what kind of significance this has in the broader sense, in the broader domestic homeland security sense, there is a concern among some people that this may be constituting an act of domestic terrorism. I want to be very clear. Law enforcement has not described it like that. But this is something that the FBI would potentially look into as they descend on something like this, because what we've seen is the Department of Homeland Security warning just recently as November 30th, Anna, that attacks on critical infrastructure are possible, that there are lone wolf style attacks that have potential to cause great damage. They're very concerned about individuals mobilizing to violence. We've seen other types of acts like that. So the Department of Homeland Security warning critical infrastructure as well as schools, faith-based institutions, large gathering places. Those are all places where people may seek to carry out their personal grievances or ideological beliefs and cause real damage, Anna.